Okay, on the line right now is Greg Gianforte, and good morning, Mr. Gianforte. How are you, sir?
Good, John. My pleasure to be with you.
You bet. This is Peter Christian. That's John King over there. And
okay.
I understand you've made the big announcement.
We did. We just finished up an event in Billings. We had a great turnout, and what we announced was that I have decided, after much reflection and visiting with Montanans all over the state, that I have thrown my hat in the ring as a candidate for governor of Montana.
All right. What's the biggest issue for you? What is issue number one? We've actually been talking about issues all day on Talkback. I want to hear what Greg Gianforte has taken on as its main issue.
Well, I think as I've done hundreds and hundreds of meetings all over the state in the last few months, and it's less about me and more about what Montana needs. And the thing I've heard over and over again is that we just don't have enough high-wage jobs. That's my background. People that know me know that we started a small business at our home, created 1,100 jobs in the Bozeman area, most of them average wage, almost $90,000 a year. And unfortunately today we're 49th in the country in wages, and too many of our young people have to leave. That's the primary issue.
Now, Greg, I just attended a conference yesterday in Missoula, the state of Missoula, put on by the Chamber of Commerce and our friends at Neptune Aviation. Anyway, it was called Help Wanted. The fact that within the next 10 years, there are not enough young people to fill jobs that are existent right now. That baby boomers are retiring, and there's not enough young people to fill those jobs. So they're talking about training and trying to get things up and running. How do you see that situation?
Yeah, there's no question. We have to do a better job of preparing our young people for the jobs of the future, the high-wage jobs. I think that's why we started the Code Montana program to get computer science into every high school. I also think, as I talk to construction people and manufacturers, they can't find people with trades. And
exactly,
I think we need to be doubling down on our trades education, because today we force too many young people into a 4-year degree that may not be a very good fit, and you don't need a 4-year degree to be successful here in Montana.
Ask a master plumber how much he or she makes, and then talk to a teacher or whatever, and I think you might be surprised.
Yeah, we need things built. We have some fantastic manufacturers in the state. Many of them have told me they could double the size of their business if they could find people with skills. I was talking with Tom Speaker. We're going to be in Lewistown a little bit later today. He told me that he could double the size of his business there doing aluminum fabrication if he could find people with basic skills. And I asked Tom, I said, well, what skills are you looking for? And he said, well, I need somebody with a high school diploma who can measure a piece of material and cut it to length.
Wow.
And I said, Tom, that sounds like shop class. He says, exactly. Could we get shop class back?
You bet.
Now, before you even announced, I got, because I'm signed up for all the Democrats and Republicans' mail, there was a hit piece out against you from the Democrats this morning already. My question for you is this. How do you see yourself doing things differently than our current governor?
Well, there's a number of areas. First, I have a belief that opportunity and prosperity are only created by small businesses and the private sector. So my first initiative, and I'll share it with you right here, we're going to start a regulation roundup. We're going to visit with small business owners all over the state and find out what regulations are getting in the way of them thriving. And then we'll sort through them, figure out which ones are excessive, and we'll round them up, and we'll send the excessive ones out to pasture.
Are there any that you can name yet? I mean, you've been in the business world for a while. I'm sure there's some on the top of your list.
Oh, there's many. You think about it in the construction industry. Today, if you get mud on your boots on a construction site and you walk in the street, it's no longer mud, it's a pollutant, and you can get fined if it falls off your boot.
Wow.
We just need to bring some common sense.
Sure.
I think the second thing is we need new leadership in state agencies who have actually worked in industry. Simple things like we've seen a delay and procrastination associated with permits in our natural resources industries. I'd like to see somebody from industry in charge of the Montana Department of Environmental Quality. And it may sound like a crazy idea, but what if we had at the Department of Labor somebody running that agency who's actually had an employee?
Okay, now I have a question for you, Greg, and this has been the common deal whenever I get one of these hit pieces. They say this out-of-state billionaire wants to come into Montana and change our values. So how do you respond to that?
Well, a lot of this stuff is so shrill. It's just most Montanans are smarter than that. I first came to Montana 40 years ago. We've been climbing in the backcountry. My wife and I have raised our 4 kids in Bozeman. We started a business in our home. It's still the same home we live in Montana. I think Montanans are smarter than that.
We have 1 minute left.
All right. Well, as far as the tour, I guess you're doing a little bit of a jump from city to city, kind of making your announcement. Where are you going next?
We're on our way to Sydney. We're going to be at Richland Pump and Supply right around 11:30 today. Then we'll be in Lewistown, and then we'll be up in the Flathead later today. We'll be in Missoula tomorrow. And the details on that, if people in Missoula are interested, you can go to our Facebook page, which is just facebook.com/Greg4Montana. And it's open to the public right in downtown Missoula. It'll be tomorrow, I think, early afternoon. I don't have the time right in front of me, but it's up on the webpage.
Great. Greg, it's a pleasure to visit with you. We hope to have you on and also Governor Bullock on lots of times during this campaign to let you guys, talk it out.
Well, Peter and John, I always enjoy my time with you, and thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Take care.